Hi everyone, my name is James Roussel and welcome to Esports Explore, where we get to know members of the esports industry as well as those affecting the field overall in a positive way. Today I got a chance to speak with Evgeny Permiakov. He is an educator based out of Kuwait, and we had a chance to talk about how he implements Minecraft Education Edition in his classroom, what he does as a content creator, as a cinematographer, and a bunch of other fields that he's involved in. But most of our conversation revolved around how we can use video games and esports as a positive influence in education and different learning environments to better engage a wider variety of students. And most of our conversation did center around Minecraft Education Edition, which is not something I know a whole lot about, and it was really interesting for me personally, as someone who's not an educator, learning about how video games can be incorporated into that space. So here's my conversation with Evgeny, and I hope you enjoy.
My full name is Evgeny Permikov. I'm originally from Russia. I was born and raised here. I went to school. I went to university here. Got my bachelor's and master's are here. Um, I've been living and working abroad for 7 or 8. I lost count. 7 or 8 years. I lived and worked in South Korea, Germany, China, and now I'm based out of Kuwait, Middle East, where I work as a technology integration specialist. I basically help teachers, staff, administrators to find, learn, and integrate technology into their workflow in the best interest of the students and the community. I'm married. I have a kid who's 10 months. And yeah, I like basketball. I like snowboarding. I like flying the drone. And I also like reading and spending time with my family.
Awesome. Well, I know as an educator, you had a very, varied experience, I guess, going around to different countries and eventually ending up in Kuwait. Do you want to talk a little bit about that journey and what got you there?
Yeah, definitely. So my journey started with my passion and love for English language. Ever since I was a kid, I developed this really, I would say I'm healthy interest in foreign languages. I love English language more than my mother tongue. So that got me into learning English, and then ultimately that got me into teaching English as a foreign language. So this is how I traveled to as an exchange student to South Korea. This is how I traveled as an au pair to Germany, and this is how I got my first teaching job abroad in southern China, where I taught English as a foreign language. I then moved on to Shanghai again, where I taught English as a foreign language. I moved to more administrative job there. And then when I moved finally to Kuwait, I realized that actually it was my supervisor who realized that I actually like technology and able to integrate technology into in a meaningful way. I didn't think this way. I thought everybody's doing that because I rarely left my classroom really apart from a couple of observations. And then along the way, I also developed a habit of filming. My first camera, I got it in China, my GoPro camera, and I started filming. And I realized, oh, this is an awesome process because all my friends and relatives live elsewhere. They're either in Russia or scattered around the world. So I got into the habit of filming our family trips first. And then when I traveled to Kuwait, I found, prior to traveling to Kuwait, I found absolutely no vlogs, anything from this country, like what is life there. So I decided to be this person to start this vlog, and then this is how I developed my cinematography skills. And now I also work for Kuwait, the oldest Kuwait magazine, Bazaar. So I do some promotional, commercial stuff for them. And also, coupled with that was my gaming experience, what actually got me into the esport coordinator position this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing video games ever since I can remember myself, and so it's just a perfect storm of events, really.
Yeah, a perfect storm of events, skills, interests you pursued, sort of all ended up culminating in this position. Um,
Yeah.
and I know one of the main tools you use in your classroom is Minecraft Education Edition.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about, how you found out about it, how you're using it currently?
Yeah, definitely. Minecraft. Actually, the first time I heard about Minecraft being used in the classroom was back in China. It was probably 2016, maybe 2015, and I didn't give it much attention. I knew Minecraft was a game, but I didn't know how to apply it. I didn't play it myself. But then again, in Kuwait, everything happened in Kuwait at my current school. I suddenly I pick up an iPad and I realized, oh, this is a game, and I just it wasn't even Minecraft education when I started Minecraft. It was just a regular Pocket Edition Minecraft that I used to have on an iPad, and then I just started exploring Minecraft with my students. Back when I started, I knew nothing. Once there was a night in Minecraft, and I would ask my students, guys, how do you change it from day to night? So I was at this stage where I knew nothing about Minecraft. But back in the days, there were education edition, but it was only available on Windows computers. So there's no way for me to actually do the Minecraft. So we started off by class projects. We did farm, we did perimeter, we did area, we did so many science projects, language arts projects. Students would building a structure, and then they would take out their journals and write the instructions for their language arts. It was just a perfect sandstorm of a game. And then 2 years ago, they released Minecraft Education for wider selection of platforms for PC, sorry, for Mac computers, for iPads, and this is where it really took off. This is where I started delving more deeply into the education version of Minecraft. This is why I connected to the community of educators, so like-minded educators. This is where I found my mentor, Edward. Forgot his name. I know his nickname on Discord. His
Right.
name is Edu Elfi. He's my unofficial mentor. He's helped me a lot digging into the Minecraft, and yeah, and then the most recent phase is where we started using Minecraft education for rebuilding our physical campus. Now with the things happening around the world, that became relevant, and now moving step further, we are now using Minecraft as a springboard for esport.
That's awesome. I've played Minecraft since it was just creative edition, I guess. So like early beta, late alpha builds. And I've never really gotten my hands on like an education edition of it. I've never played it before.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to some of the projects you would do when you just had Pocket Edition available, compared to the tools that Education Edition offers, what are some like interesting tools you've been able to use, and what sort of projects have those been able to bring about?
Right. And so this is sort of like a double-edged sword. On one
Mm-hmm.
hand, Minecraft education has its benefits in terms of some functionality that is specifically geared towards classroom use. On the other hand, Minecraft education edition is falling behind Java edition and Bedrock and all others in terms of
Gotcha.
functionality again. So just to name the couple of things that make it easy to use Minecraft education in the classroom as opposed to other versions, there are certain blocks in like if you're not familiar with Minecraft, it's the whole game is made up of blocks basically, and Minecraft education has some blocks that specifically geared towards classroom usage. For example, you want to create an area where your students want to work. So in Minecraft education, there's a border block, which is basically like a border which students cannot cross. Or there are certain blocks that will prevent students from building, whereas there are other blocks that will allow students to build things. There are blackboards, there are cameras, there are portfolios. So there are ways for students to actually document their learning and then submit it to their teacher, whereas in regular Minecraft, I don't think it's possible. So just to give you an example, we had a project where in grade 3, where students, we were talking about biomes, and we would send students, we would spawn them in different biomes, in the desert biome, in a taiga, in a jungle, and then they would have to document with a camera living and non-living things and then compare them to different biomes. So this project would have been impossible in a regular Minecraft because there's
Right.
no camera, there's no portfolio. But in Minecraft education, because you have those tools, it's actually, again, it's totally down to your creativity how to utilize those tools. So yeah, this is just a couple of things that distinguish the Minecraft education. There's also a classroom mode. There's a code builder, a specific add-on for coding and Minecraft education.
Yeah, I think if we were to do that in like the regular Java edition of Minecraft, you would have to rely on, sort of the pen and ink and books essentially, which have like a really strict character limit, and I can't
Yeah,
imagine how much of a pain it would be. So it's really cool that it has all those different resources. Um,
yeah.
you know,
and 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 this is one of the reasons when I present to other educators about Minecraft, and I said, listen, in 2012 Microsoft bought Minecraft for $1.2 billion, either million or billion, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't matter, it's
all
still
right,
a lot of money. And so,
yeah,
and after that, the Minecraft Education Edition launch was after Microsoft bought the game, the Mojang company that owns the game. And so I use this as a fact that Microsoft saw some potential in Minecraft, and saw something that can bring education into the 21st century. When we talk about 21st century education, Minecraft is 150% capable of doing that. And I use that as a selling point when I try to not try to persuade, but try to point out, underscore the benefits of Minecraft, is that the biggest, the giant, the technology giant bought this game, right, and then add education to it. So they have to know something. They know stuff that makes sense, that works. So we shouldn't be just oblivious of that. We should recognize that Microsoft owns Minecraft. There's the whole team of developers who support the development of Minecraft.
oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it's such an impactful tool, not even in like a, like a hands-on learning sense, but as a creative exploration, as a way to get students interacting in areas they might not otherwise find interest in. For the students you work with, have you seen any students that participate sort of garner a new interest in different subjects, or does it help them understand specific subject matter in a different way?
Yeah, definitely. And when I speak of these are not just empty words or promises. Every time we do a Minecraft project, we round it off by first looking at the data, but also asking students. We always do a survey, asking students, okay, what did you learn in this lesson? How did Minecraft, or how did this particular activity help you achieve your learning outcome, which was this and that? Or as opposed, we ask them, one of the questions, my favorite questions is, imagine this project had been done in pencil and paper, how would it be different? And the answers, some of them are hilarious, but some of them should be taken seriously. One of the recent projects we did was a timeline of the war, a timeline of World War One. And the students, I have a video on my channel where students, like with student testimonies, where they say, not everybody is good at creative writing, right? But I can be good at creating settings for my character. The task was to recreate the timeline of the war through the perspective of a character. And so we have different timestamps, and the students should create the setting of the character progressing through the war, and they came up with amazing settings, amazing creative solutions to the limitations of Minecraft, because Minecraft doesn't have every single block for everything, but somehow you have to build barbed wire. And so students, when I was looking at the project, some of them put the spider web around, and I was like, why are you putting spider web? But then it turned out, when we were reflecting, they said, oh, we saw this metal things in the trenches, and we found the spider web that looked like barbed wire. That's why we put it in place. So even the limitation of Minecraft, which is inherent in the game, brings about amazing things in the students in terms of creativity. In terms of interest in the content, definitely. We need to understand that students now live in a fast-pacing world where everything is so fast, and everything is, well, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but we have to recognize that everything is immediately rewarded. Where you kill a mob in the game, you got gold, you got experience. You don't have to wait for the entire 2 weeks to get a score on the test. So Minecraft allows this instant feedback which again, I'm not a proponent of instant gratification, but we have to recognize that it has to be in place. It has to be integrated into our lessons to sustain interest of the students. We may not be happy about it, but we have to recognize that and not be oblivious of the fact that students actually need something to sustain their interest, because the world is in the social media, the video games, everything really is fast. It's just incredible. And so we have to recognize this fact and somehow find ways to authentically and meaningfully implement it into the classroom. And Minecraft allows that, again, in a meaningful and educational way.
I really love your point about having, sort of the inherent limits in Minecraft sort of spur on creativity. I mean, when we look at like really early builds of it, for example, say I wanted to make a chair. I think a lot of the first chairs that people make in Minecraft are like a wooden stair block and then two
Yeah,
blank
yeah,
signs on the side of it, right? And I think that's really interesting. I love the perspective of being able to engage in that context history in a different capacity where they might not have been able to convey their thoughts appropriately otherwise. Um, as someone who was a very poor science student in high school, I can imagine, just how much better I would do if I was able to like interact with Minecraft Education Edition, for example, in the capacity of being able to, sort of hold physical elements in my inventory and then combine them in different capacities to see what they make. Um, I don't know. I think, having learning in an interactive environment like that's really appropriate and really, beneficial for students. I think it also sort of goes back to your point of, you know, rather than saying like, instant gratification for students, I would say students are really, and I think people in general are sort of, bombarded with information all the time. I can
yeah.
go online and research a bevy of information and find out about current events. So I feel like we also have to appeal to that as educators in order to sort of stay on trend and also make sure that we're conveying the information we need to.
Yeah.
Not everyone can sit down and read a large textbook for a large period of time. Not everyone has that, capacity, and that's okay.
And also, I don't want to come across as a person who says, "Oh, let's just do only Minecraft and
Right.
forget about everything else." No, there has to be a healthy balance. And even with the projects, one thing I realized is we sometimes make false assumptions that all kids like video games, and if we say, "Hey guys, we're going to do Minecraft project education," everybody will be happy, which is not really true. There are some students who actually find uh, work with textbook pretty useful and encouraging. One of the projects we did before we went on a curfew on a summer break was a science lesson on cell structure. And when I was working with the teacher, I said, "Hey, I've noticed that some students, when I talk to them after the project, they say, well, Minecraft is I like the game, but it's the user interface is not that user friendly to me. I'd rather work with a textbook." So I said, why don't we offer them 3 methods of completing the task? So you have Minecraft education, you can use the textbook, or you can use a simulator like um, virtual lab. And so there were probably 5 to 6, maybe 7 students who chose textbook. And then we interviewed them afterwards saying like, why did you choose textbook when you had virtual simulators, you have Minecraft education? And they were really comfortable saying that I don't like computer games. I just like books. I like to work by myself. I don't necessarily want to work with a team. And this is that struck me as something so remarkable, as we as adults think that, oh, kids should love computer games, they should like student like group work, collaboration, but which is not really what sometimes some students want. We have to recognize individuality of students and use Minecraft as a means of letting some of these students shine, but not at the expense of those students who actually want to work by themselves using the textbook. So it's definitely not the weapon of choice. It's a weapon of choice that complement other means of instructions like textbook, virtual simulators, encyclopedia, and other things.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really valuable perspective to have. for a teacher that would be watching this, that, might have a varied classroom like the one you're describing, where students learn in a variety of different capacities, whether that be through virtual lab, textbook, interactive mediums like Minecraft, what advice would you give to them looking to implement something like Minecraft Education Edition into their own school system?
Right, and I probably made a mistake when I teach Minecraft education, when I do workshops on Minecraft education in my local community in Kuwait. I would spring the Minecraft on them and say, let's grab some iPads and let's play. And for some way, adults who've never played video games before find Minecraft really frustrating. The graphics is repulsive for some of them. It's not as beautiful as other video games you see. The navigation is not straightforward. So the first advice I would give to any educator is just take an iPad or sit down at the computer in your school or at home and just play Minecraft for yourself, just for a little while, just to get ahead of the game. What is it about? Talk to your kids. One of the teachers, when I said that we will be doing Minecraft, a workshop for Minecraft, her students wanted to come to our workshop because they got so excited that their parents would learn. But that's besides the point. So my advice would be, first of all, try the game yourself. There's you don't have to know in and out of the game. You don't know the complex command blocks. You don't have to create complex worlds. You just need to know what is it all about? What is Minecraft in general? Okay, so you can describe it maybe in one paragraph. The second advice I would give is to find someone in your building or in your school, in your district, in your professional learning network. Find someone who knows Minecraft and who is willing to help you get ahead of it, because it's interesting how sometimes we think that it's a great platform, and it is a great platform, but the learning curve is really steep, and that's what I think what turns a lot of people off, is because once you start Minecraft, once you start actually developing learning activities, it is actually quite hard playing Minecraft and developing actually authentic learning activities, where, as opposed to having students join the world and do something not related to your learning outcomes, not relating to our International Society for Education standards. Creating authentic experiences is really hard. Just to give you, again, I'm not trying to turn anybody off. I'm just want to give you set the right expectations. Sometimes it takes me, there's a world that I've been working on for 2 years. There's an entrepreneurship project that I've been working on for 2 years, meticulously creating banking system, meticulously creating trading system. There are some other projects that took me less time. My point is that if you can find someone who is familiar with Minecraft already, or if you have a tech coach or a learning coach, or people like me, who like to help people free of charge. I'm not a service provider. I just like to help people, collaborate with people. I'm collaborating with people from educators from Spain. There's one from Hong Kong. I just said, guys, we have a project. Why don't we collaborate together? They're just teachers. They're not tech coaches. So find someone in your building, in a professional learning network, who knows Minecraft and who can actually help you design this learning activity, because it's sad to say, but it takes more than one person to run a successful project in Minecraft. Why? Because the technical component of Minecraft is relatively hard to grapple with if you are by yourself. What it means, the technical aspect. If you want to do a collaborative project in Minecraft, which I think the real meat of the platform is that you connect all students together, you will inevitably have a technical problem. There could be an internet issue, or some students have an outdated client. So having someone like a tech coach or a partner teacher or someone else who will be actually troubleshooting those 2 or 3 students who cannot connect, while you are actually facilitating and give instructions to the majority of the students, this will be an amazing experience, as opposed to you troubleshooting with 3 kids and the rest of the classroom is getting out of control. So I'm just painting the real picture, having taught Minecraft, having facilitated Minecraft. A lot of, when I speak like that, a lot of teachers come to me and say, Evgeni, what are you doing? You're telling us scary stories. You're telling us that we are going to fail. And I'm not saying you're going to fail. I don't want you to fail like me, like I did. I wanted to do everything by myself. And it's really, really hard because, like I say, if you do something innovative, something like revolutionary in a sense, you will inevitably have problems. And if you're not having any problems, that you're not doing anything innovative or revolutionary, you're just doing all things in the old ways. Paper and pencil will definitely work, but it's nothing new. If you're doing something um, as daring, I would say, as a multiplayer Minecraft project, if you can pull it off, the results will be stunning. Really, when we pull out this Minecraft World War One project, when I showed the video that we put together after we interviewed the student, the teacher, she was just stunned. She was speechless. She was like, "Wow, I cannot believe we pull it off." Again, so the rewards are awesome, but how much time and work you have to put in, but it's totally worth it. But again, to kind of summarize, find someone who can help you out. There's a Discord community. A Discord is, if you're not familiar with it, Discord is a platform for gamers specifically, but there's a channel, there's a server for educators who are using Minecraft education, and the people are willing to help you there. They will show you the ropes, they will hold you by the hands. And so this is a really good community. I'm always available for help. And I'm sure there are educators or ed tech coaches or even students who will be willing to show you the ropes when you start.
You've taught in many different countries to a lot of different cultures and a bunch of different capacities. What are some ways that you feel that traditional learning environments can be challenged to sort of better utilize students' competencies, potentials? What sort of gaps are you seeing in a traditional education system?
Yeah, and so there's been a lot of talks about traditional versus contemporary versus 21st century education, and how the traditional model cripples the development of the students. There's certainly good things that we can take away from traditional modes of instructions. We shouldn't underestimate the power of strong curriculum or the power of research-based instructions. So these things cannot be just discarded as old-fashioned or outdated. Those things will always serve the purpose. What I do believe could change is the more meaningful and more authentic use of technology, because these days the at least what I see in the work environments where I work and where I've been, almost every classroom these days have either an interactive smartboard or an overhead projector. Every classroom has at least one computer or one iPad. And what I regret to see is students are sent off to do, let's say, research. This is what I guess makes me sad, is that when we send students to do research just by using Google, like, okay, go ahead and Google it. So students come up with some results, but this is not how we can utilize this amazing technology of internet, of doing meaningful educated research. So I think what we can really improve on is make better use of what we already have, not necessarily adding more stuff. Like I see these days, there's a trend of adding virtual reality, adding 360, adding virtual tours. Those things are really great, but I don't think we've done a good job of mastering what was available to us even 5 years ago, like an overhead projector or interactive smartboard. Because these days, if you are familiar with the SAMR model, the substitution, augmentation, modification, and refining, I think, or redefinition. So we're just using these starboards to project what we could have projected on the whiteboard. So I think what we could do is make better use of what we have, make actually use of starboards functionality, make use of interactive starboards, make use of internet, make use of audiovisual resources and other things, or cloud-based technology like Google resources. Minecraft is one of them. Minecraft is an amazing tool, but it's really advanced. It's really, like I said before, high risk, high reward environment. I think the blind spot, the second blind spot, in addition to not fully utilizing technology authentically, is a linear path. And again, it bounds back to video games. In video games, if you ever played any video game, when you develop your character, there's never a single path to developing your character. And I think this is a good reflection of what our education, or how the education at least should reflect in the curriculum. There should be a way for students to first offer them different ways as to how to absorb the content. And I'm not just saying absorb the content through showing the clip versus reading the textbook. There are many other ways as to how students can accumulate and internalize information. Also, as to how they show their competency, by means of project-based learning, by means of gamification, by means of portfolio assessment and other things. And the reason I believe, what I've at least seen in my practice, why isn't it happen, is the lack of time. Every time we hold professional development um, session for teachers and we say, well, we have to include portfolio assessment, we have to include project-based learning, we have to include more, well, for the lack of a better word, fun things or more engaging stuff for students to develop, to show competency. The response that teachers always have is, we don't have time for that. And this is where I guess the third blind spot of the traditional method is that many educators, again, I'm just speaking from my personal experience, from what I see on a day-to-day basis, many educators unfortunately fail to automate their work or make full or better use of computer technology, make better use of technologies that are available to us today. Just to give us a quick example, we are using Google Classroom as our learning management system. When I work with teachers and they have problems with Google Classroom, first thing I ask them to do is show me how you access your Google Classroom. And what I see is them opening the browser, typing Google, then typing Google Classroom, then pressing on Google Classroom. And then I ask them, how many times do you execute this string of actions? And they say, well, many times. I said, why don't we create a shortcut on your desktop? And this, just by means of 2 clicks, you can open the Google Classroom. This will save you probably 10 seconds, 15 seconds of your time once. But if you multiply it by 10, 50 times you do it a day, then multiply it by 5 times you do it in a week. So this accumulates to hours, if not days of work time. And this is, I guess, the blind spot that we as educators unfortunately have, is that we are not in our practices are not in line with what is available to us in terms of the automation of tasks. How many times I see teachers marking the rubric by hand and then converting score from raw score to the percentile. I've made a video clip and I did a couple of workshops on automated rubrics. It's now time to leave this to algorithms and spreadsheets to actually calculate this score for us. I'm not saying the computers will calculate a student's essay. We still doing the scoring, but calculation of the score, the conversion of the score can be automated and should be automated, as well as other things. So these are the 3 things that I think hold us back. The first one is we are not using technology intelligently. We have all these great tools, but we're just using maybe 10% of them. Our students in our school carry iMacs, laptops, MacBooks to school. This is a creative machine which is capable of creating music, creating video clips, creating all sorts of things, but we're using them for working in a Google Doc, So we have to actually work with what we have, explore what we have, and make better use of that. The second blind spot that we have is teachers should actually revamp their arsenal of things and actually make better use of automation, make better use of technology, again, to simplify their workflow. This is what I think is important. So these are the blind spots that I see in contemporary education practices. And finally, the third one, I almost missed it, is give students choice as to how they demonstrate competency. And you and all educators will have time if we can automate some of the tasks that take up so much time and effort. So we will be able to automate some of the tasks that will give us time to differentiate, to give students more time, not more time, more opportunities uh, to demonstrate their competency.
Yeah, no, I think your perspective is really valuable as someone who, takes on a variety of different hats, whether it be as a streamer, cinematographer, gamer, all outside of the realm of teaching. So I think it gives you a number of unique perspectives in regard to, one, how we can integrate technology into a more efficient learning environment, but also, what methods of technology are most appropriate for students and what can be best applied. Um, Sort of leading into that, I want to, and end our conversation on this question specifically as a culmination of sort of everything we've talked about. For someone who's a student who might be interested in your career path in regard to technology integration in schools and alternative methods of learning and teaching, what would you recommend they do to get more involved in education? And what opportunities might be available at like an entry level or through volunteering?
Okay. Well, there are many layers how I can answer this
Mm-hmm.
question. I think it all starts, maybe it's uh, old-fashioned way of saying that, but I think it all starts with passion. I think if you are passionate about technology in whatever way, like my way to technology was through English language, right? So I started as an English language teacher, then homeroom teacher who uses technology, then technology integration specialist, and now I'm not officially esport coordinator, but I'm spearheading that. So there are many ways to enter this field. So just follow what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about technology, then just do it, reflect on it, and hone your skills. There's no other way. You can definitely um, uh, learn or do a course or do an official study. But I think in my experience, the most efficient way of self-development and developing skills was self-reflection. When I was learning English, I was constantly recording myself when I would make a presentation, record myself to correct my mistakes, correct my pronunciation, and other things. When I work on Minecraft, I constantly ask for feedback of students, like how was this world? How could we improve this world? When I make movies, I always ask for feedback, looking for the ways to improve, reflect myself, ask myself questions. Um, these days, there seems to be a trend of webinars and other things to attend online. Those things are good, but I think they should not exclude or they should not be. Let me rephrase that. Your self-reflection and external source of information does not exclude each other. You can always learn from someone else, but the deep learning comes from reflecting on what you're doing, what is going well, and what is not going well, and listening to your intuition. Again, following the career path, it depends on how old you are. I started teaching when I was probably in my sophomore year. I started tutoring English again. So try to find some ways to develop your passion, what you're passionate about. My passion was English language, so I spent um, times watching movies in English. I spend time tutoring English. If your passion is technology, so find time and space where you can actually benefit society by doing that. I know it's really general, but this time and age, you can start a YouTube channel, and if you're really good at technology, you can start some tutorials, do video tutorials for educators, especially at this time and age. It's really helpful for those people who are a little bit challenged on technology side, who doesn't take it up so easily. It's really helpful if you can break it down for them and explain how it works. So yeah, what else can I say?
And I think that's a really good summation. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's a really, positive note to sort of leave it off on. before we end our conversation, is there any social media channels or anything like that to follow any projects you have going on?
Yeah, I normally highlight and communicate through my YouTube channel, my Instagram and Twitter. My hashtags there are edtechie, like spelled educational, like edtech, EDTECH, and then II, the two letters of my first name, Evgeni. So edtechie is my Instagram, and Twitter, and my YouTube is just my first and last name, Evgeni Permikov. This is where I basically try to communicate what I'm doing, what I'm up to. I also hold live streams on Saturdays through Instagram Live and YouTube, where I answer tech-related questions. So just talking about recent trends, what's been happening in educational technology world, what's my plans for the next for the nearest future, what projects I'm working on in terms of my channel and so forth. Just a live interaction. If you have any questions pertaining to technology, any sphere of my interest, really, either cinematography or gaming or esport or live streaming or Minecraft education, I'll be happy to help you or just chat.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for putting and organizing this interview together.
Not a problem. Have a good one, Evgeny.
You too. Bye.
Bye.